Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Tina Jha, you're watching Perspective. In a major boost to India's fifth generation fighter aircraft program, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh announced recently that India will jointly manufacture advanced jet engines with France. The project involving the Defence Research and Development Organisation, that's the DRDO, and French aerospace major Safran will mark a major boost for India's defence self-reliance and also deepen an already expansive strategic partnership between New Delhi and Paris. As per reports, the engine project with 100% transfer of technology is aimed at designing, developing, testing, certifying and producing advanced 120 kilonewton engines in India for the twin-engine Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, the AMCA, and also future platforms. To be executed with DRDO's Gas Turbine Research Establishment, the engine project is estimated to cost around $7 billion. So will this engine deal break India's dependence on foreign suppliers? Will it propel our dream of true Atmanirbharta, that self-reliance in defence? We'll get perspectives on some of these aspects and much more with an illustrious panel. It gives me immense pleasure today to welcome on the program Air Vice Marshal O.P. Tiwari, retired. He's a defence expert. Marshal, thank you for your time. Welcome to Sansad TV. I'm also pleased to welcome Major General Sanjay Meston, retired. He's a defence as well as a geopolitical expert. General Meston, always a pleasure to have you join us on the program with your perspective. So, Air Marshal, let me begin the program today with you. The first word about how significant this deal is with France. And I ask you this particularly because in recent years, ramping up indigenous defence equipment, including fighter aircraft, has been at the core of Atmanirbharta, the self-reliance push that we have seen particularly in India. But developing a high-thrust engine for a fighter aircraft has long been a stumbling block. Do you think this deal that we are now aiming to strike with France, Safran's 100% transfer of technology for the AMCA engine, will this be the definitive breakthrough that India has been waiting for all this while?
Yes, sir, definitely. Because if you see this capability, first aircraft by Indian government manufacturing was Maruts. Maruts had flown in 1971. But problem of Maruts was that the engine you have to take it from the USA, and engine was too powerful and that flopped. Right. It means we are capable of manufacturing aircrafts, making aircrafts as early as in 1960s. But however, because the government in their own wisdom, they have stalled this project. Because let me say clearly, whenever you go and buy equipments for the defense equipments, there are a lot of other things involved. I will not say very clearly, a lot of things are involved. That's why they intention is to import, not to manufacture. But now, however, see the HAL also started, this aircraft manufacturing started. The first time when the George Fernandez became the defense minister, that's the time after a lot of push, first initial flight was done by Tejas. After that again the project was stalled, nothing was happening. Now think, now the way we have moved it, Tejas have come up, but our problem, when our scientists on DRDO, we slightly lagged and could not manufacture engine of a desired standard. Though we had been a running engine project, Kaveri, but the desired kiloton, we had reached about 90 kilotons, not 120 kilotons, so there were no alternative. However, we had a dealing with America to get the engines from GE. They purposely or intentionally, or I don't know for what reasons, they delayed it. So our entire delivery and manufacturing of AMCA aircraft is delayed by 1.5 to 2 years. So now this has become a very unreliable partner. Now best thing about France, France is known to transfer complete technology without anything hidden. It is so open. So now we have been waiting, even Indian Air Force have been, because French aircraft have been operating. We had Mirages, now we got Rafales. So we have been waiting for such a deal. So now this Safran aircraft and this engine and this company what will manufacture, it will not only for the 5th generation, it will come up for the 6th generation also.
Right.
Let me tell difference between the 5th and 6th generation aircrafts. 6th generation aircraft is only that it has got AI incorporated, that is being done in the already planned in AMCA. Secondly, the hypersonic. The hypersonic is the only speed required for the engine modification is required. So with the help of this engine coming into the India and you will getting Atmanirbhar, so we will decide, India government, Indian Air Force, Indian government decide which aircraft, whatever you want to do it. Best part I tell you, any 5th and 6th generation aircraft, it is the computer integrated system. Best part is that how to integrate weapons with the aircrafts,
right.
How to make it more precision targeting, how to cover complete area. Now this is being done with the help of DRDO and ADE, where the interface between the operators, between the scientists and between the other engineers is of very high standard. Like every stage there is interface, like certain amount of improvement required, that incorporated again. So that this development of AMCA, it will be the best 5th generation aircraft. I will say 5th and 5.5 generation aircraft. Though Japan is also trying, Korea is also trying, Turkey is also trying, America has already made it. But that F-35 is not a very effective aircraft.
Sure, I will come and understand the comparisons between the 5th generation aircraft which the other countries are using, what AMCA actually means for India's future in defence. But before that, the geopolitical point that you raised, I'll bring that to General Meston. We see that India has chosen France over the US and UK. So in this case, Safran has been chosen over General Electric from the United States of America and Rolls-Royce from the UK. How do you view this decision geopolitically, and especially amid the current geopolitical complexities that we are witnessing with one of our long-term partners, the USA?
Tina, very interesting question. Firstly, I would just like to give out a concept which has changed over the last few years. You know, India today has made a tectonic shift towards indigenization. That's a major shift, and therefore earlier we were buyers. Now we are producers and sellers. That's a major difference. Sure. Number 2, the political will is important to give a correct direction to the defense. Understanding the strategic culture, the defense culture is a need of the hour for the entire nation, and I am very glad that the political leadership has understood that very well, and it has emerged successfully during Op Sindoor. So the trust and faith has emerged. And number 3, a very important factor is the funding. You know, every procurement or indigenization depends on money, and therefore the economy is boosting up, and the people must understand that defense and economy is interrelated, correlated. If you have a stable government, stable environment, external environment, geostrategic environment, economy will progress. If there is instability, obviously economy will not progress. So both are complementary. Now coming on to the question, considering the geostrategic atmosphere which is prevailing, India has firstly retained its strategic autonomy, and we have had excellent relations with all the major countries of the world, whether it is United States, whether it is Israel, whether it is France, whether it is Germany, whether it is Russia. So we are that nation today, and including Ukraine, we are the ones we can talk to everyone. So that gives us a lot of advantage. However, now what has happened of late, GE F414 engines, which again was decided transfer of technology will be there and everything. Of course, in that the term of reference was 70% will be the TOT. It's been delayed by 2 years.
Yes.
So the entire AMCA project gets stalled. And I think the government of India has not taken a very wise decision, and also now considering Trump's attitude, you know, using trade as a leverage on India, 50% now 25% and 25%. So therefore the trust factors come in, and also seeing the past pattern of President Trump. Since the time he's taken over, who were his best allies? NATO or the Europe? He has ditched them, and imagine his neighboring country Canada, he says I'll take take over that country. So therefore reliability of America is becoming question mark. Therefore with the recent trends, and especially doing this 50% tariffs on India, what is the choice for India? Should we keep depending on that nation? No, the answer is very clear, no. So therefore we have to now fall back to a trusted partners, I would not say allies, and therefore France has been one, whether it is Scorpion submarine, whether it is this Safran now, and I think they have done, they have decided on total 100% transfer of technology. They have therefore not retained any leeway. So otherwise, when you have something, the leeway is there to them, they can pull the taps and all those kind of things. So it has given a lot of flexibility. Now what advantage it gives us? Firstly, as brought out, it's a 120 kilonewton, that force engine. Yes. So it gives lot of advantage, and the deficiency of the squadrons today, the Indian Air Force requires 42.5. and we were actually having functional is 30. So, firstly Tejas Mark 1A, now Tejas Mark 2 will also develop. We will of course hopefully we will get F404 engines further. But the fact of the matter is that now our reliability, and now we have decided we will go for 7 squadrons, which ones we are procuring through this Saffron TOT, in which it has been decided 2 squadrons would be through GE F414 engines, and the balance 5 would be with this thing Saffron engines. And therefore, what he stated, in future we are going to develop all 5th generation aircrafts more, and we will also graduate to 6th generation also, because the France has been a very reliable, trusted strategic partner.
General, since you mentioned reliable several times in context of France, it takes me back to the 1998 Pokhran tests. Even then, France was one of those countries which had not, imposed sanctions on India. Beyond that reliability factor, Air Marshal, is it also the fact that 100% technology transfer, the intellectual property rights will be with India? It will, in more ways than one, strengthen the indigenous defense manufacturing ecosystem in the country. Do all of these factors combine? If you look at it from that prism, they perhaps favored Saffron more than the other 2, which are relatively bigger in operation, in scale, in their respective countries.
Tina, what you said is right. Obviously, now what has happened in France? France in the past, what the general was saying again, it has been in the past, they have been training our engineers. Like whenever you go and shop with any other country, of course other than Russia, what you have got is something different, what you have told. I will give you an example here itself from between America and Pakistan. The F-16 with the America is not the same F-16 with the Pakistan, that have failed. So, what they promise, they do not give that. Here main thing is that what happened, that we do not want to only depend on the importing the engines. Okay. We have to develop our infrastructure to develop our own engines where you are not dependent on anybody else.
Absolutely.
About GE contract has been taken, they have showed their colors, now it will be restricted. What is the initial contract has been done, they will be restricted to that number of engines, after that they are not going to take it. In between there was a talk that you are going to share with the Japan also, they are going to develop engine with us. Because Japan is also coming out with the 5th generation aircraft. But the reliability factor with the France has been different. See, Mirages have been very effective during the Kargil operations with us. Again, now this aircraft has come up. Now we have got a base to test that engine. See what happened. Now engine is developed. We have got Rafale is a base. So we have to conduct as a test bed. So same aircrafts are there. So engine will be tested and certified on that. It is much easier for us. Now I am going one step ahead. 2035, 2031, 32 we start making this AMCA aircrafts being brought on this year. Now that's the time difference between the 5th generation and 6th generations are only 3. First is that it has to incorporate, 6th generation has to incorporate artificial intelligence factor. Second, it has to be hypersonic. Third is the communication has to improve. Indian scientists, DRDO scientists and Air Force interface has proved that electronic magnetic warfare regards that precision targeting system, radar system, electronic steered synthetic aperture radar, long range radar, they have proved their worth in this of Sindoor. So we are far ahead of this. Basically 3 aspects in 5th generation aircrafts. First is the aeroframe. Aeroframe has to be stealth. Stealth is how to get it? Radar cross section area has to be reduced. You have to develop an alloy where you do not get any reflection back, so that it cannot be tracked on a radar and cannot be seen. So that is that alloy and the structure has already been developed by DRDO. Second is the advanced avionics. Basically is an integrated computer system which takes sensors feed and data and incorporate and gives a desired result in a very simple form on the helmet of a pilot, where the decision capability becomes much faster. Plus second thing, that is the environment knowledge. Environment knowledge will be so much so that at least his survivability increases. And second thing, that mission success rate is also improves. So we incorporate radars, avionics and infrared system which takes a photograph all over and all integrated properly. At the same time, it's a network system. Right. That aircraft can contact with the aircraft in the air, can be ships, can be on the ground, so the decision can be taken. So network centric activity we are at best. So all the aspect of 5th generation, or if you call it 6th generation, we are running only one thing short, that was engine.
In fact, I was about to ask you, I had a question in mind when I was preparing for the program, that given the pace of how technology is evolving, will it still be called a 5th generation aircraft by 2035, or should India be preparing for the 6th generation?
That's what I told you.
You've already answered.
What will come out will be 5th and half, 5.5 generation.
Right.
But they know there is nothing good. Data has been certified anyway. Nothing has been established.
So tell us about how it compares to the other 5th generation aircrafts, the F-35, the Su-57 and the J-20.
Okay. Even now in the market right now, we have got a Russian and we have got American and a Chinese. The Chinese is not very reliable. J-35 is not a very reliable aircraft because they have done most of the job with the reverse engineering. American aircraft stealth is good, okay? But Russian aircraft has got advantage, it's cheaper. At the same time, agility and maneuverability is very fast, very fine. It can drive faster. Stealth, when do you require stealth? When you have to go across any adversaries or country through, so that you're not detected by radar and you can reach the target and come back. So that requirement, that aspect in the Russian aircraft is lesser. Stealth part is the even Su-52, it is lesser, but it is better in the other aspects. So similarly, what is our requirement? So all the aircraft requirements should be suited to aircraft's availability, aircraft's capability should be suited to our requirements. So now what I said that ADA and the DRDO is a proper interface for the nearly about 10 years. It has been very interface and they are developing from each step they are contacting. So what you require, see, armaments are being developed. So our weapons has to be integrated against this aircraft. So this is very important. We don't have to compare. You should make like a Lightning II, that F-35 aircraft, or you should have a J-22 or J-35. We have to have an aircraft which serves our purpose in 2030 or 2035. So now with the 6th generation aircraft, what they say is the difference is only 3 things. Hypersonic, that is what 5 Mach.
So you mean we should focus more on self-reliance and not on superiority, given the security challenges that
time will come when our aspirations will be different. Then that's the time you can develop accordingly. But right now, to become economically power, first thing is to become economically power and self-reliant, so that you don't have any fear from the western border or the northern border. So that aircraft will be very, very capable, and what you require, you will achieve it.
Okay. So, General, what will AMCA and indigenous engine production mean for deterrence against adversaries in the region? Operation Sindoor, we all saw how India demonstrated its capability, given the security threats that we have from our neighbors. But we are talking about now 2035, the next decade, in fact, more than a decade. So, how do you think that capability or that self-reliance aspect of indigenous engine production could mean for deterrence against our adversaries?
Very true, Tina. This will make tremendous impact on the enemy in terms of deterrence. Now, I will just take you 15th August, the Prime Minister's speech. He said something that we are going to have mission Sudarshan Chakra to be completed by 2035. So, I am going to pitch it at that level. Now, it talks about comprehensive national security shield for the strategic assets and civilian assets across the nation. What does that involve? It involves effective integrated air command control system, which we have seen it in Operation Sindoor. But the Prime Minister also mentioned that in that same thing, we will have offensive capabilities. So, these aircrafts with combination of drones and missiles and everything, it is going to lend both a defensive shield, something on the lines of what the Israelis have, the Iron Dome, or what America has today talked about, the Golden Dome, but we have gone one step ahead. The moment you talk about that, it gives a defensive mentality. That means you have to intercept and destroy the incoming missiles, aircrafts, drones. So, here it is 2 actions. One is of course intercepting, destroying all these things, but at the same time having the counter offensive capability. So, the enemy must know, the deterrence, that you try anything, there will be a solid impact. Now, therefore, AMCA comes into the play, 5th generation, 6th generation future, and that is why the timeline is 2035. So, therefore, both defensive and offensive capabilities is part of this Sudarshan Chakra, which has to be understood, and therefore, it goes on to the enemy, should you try anything. And now recently we conducted Agni 5 missile test. This is a clear message to both the adversaries that should you try, and we are preparing in terms of a deterrence, strategic deterrence. So, therefore, it cautions the enemy, in Hindi में if I can say पंगा मत लेना, क्योंकि इसका परिणाम, the after effects will be tremendous. So, Operation Sindoor was a trailer, and now if Pakistan plans any terrorist strike in India, so now they know that this is what going to be defensive we are prepared, and now what we will do in the offensive. And yesterday if you see, a successful test has also been done on integrated air defense weapon systems, where you know, the QRSAMs, the VSHORAT, and of course the direct energy weapons, you know, laser, this thing that you know, it can take on targets of 1 to 2 kilometers with a laser, you know, that emitting almost 10 kilowatts. So, this is the kind of thing we are doing today. So, all this is showing that this is part of our strategic defense, strategic offense, part of overall deterrence, and I think it is a clear cut message to both the adversaries that India today cannot be taken for granted the way it has been taken over a period of time.
Absolutely. And Marshal, the next big question is, how critical is it that we meet this project or we complete this project without any delays? And I ask you this because in the past there have been several ambitious projects that have slipped into delays because of multiple factors. Now this time around, this is one technology that we need, not just to have that superiority edge, but given the security threats that always prevail. And this reminds me each time of how leaders in the past, leaders in the present keep reminding us that we can't change our neighbors, and that's why we have to be more than prepared to deal with any kind of exigency in future. You know the system well, you've served in the force so well, for so many years. Tell us about how or what India should do differently to ensure that this ambitious project does not run into any kind of delay.
Tina, I am sure present government, this will be though targeted 2035. We are looking at other civil projects also.
Right.
It has become completed before time. Okay, so we are very sure with the France involvement and the government, like funds, you generally spoke about it. Now, how much support government is going to give us? They have got perfect planning to disperse the fund and revenue expenditure. They will be before time. Because see, now modern air warfare concept has totally changed. It is totally network centric warfare, and that network centric we require an aerial platform which is given by the 5th generation aircraft. In any further adventure with the Pakistan or China, it is must that your aerial platform should be ready as soon as possible. Right. This networking, the pilots get a complete picture of a 360-degree view with the infrared, which has already been developed here. Now with that view, the every changes, contact, targets can't destroy karna, precision targeting, everything will change. That will connect with the ships also, connect with the soldiers on the ground also, can connect to the other aircrafts also. This is the advantage of 5th generation aircraft, which Pakistan had already had few aircrafts. But however, because of our electronic magnetic warfare expertise and other ammunitions, we were able to overcome, and all the J-20 aircraft which are mud model, they were destroyed by us, and their capability didn't work in front of us, though we had only 2 squads. So this thing, other than the engines, we are far ahead in the world. And basically not only for the fighting, it is for the economic development also. These aircrafts will be far cheaper, and our market will be Africa.
Since you mentioned cheaper, let me also take the opportunity to quote the defense minister. He mentioned about HAL bagging fresh orders worth 66,000 crore rupees for 97 Tejas fighter jets, which is in addition to the earlier order of 83 aircraft which are valued at 48,000 crore rupees. There are nearly 200 Tejas jets on order. How do you see the Indian Air Force's fleet composition changing in the next decade, and especially in context of having greater confidence with indigenously developed capabilities?
Tina, things will change. It will not be restricted only to HAL. You see, there are a lot of private companies, partnership, they will also come up. You will find manufacturing so many things. Basically, if HAL is the only thing that will be see integration of all the aircrafts, airframe, engine, other things. But the time is not far when you find Tata, so other companies coming up and start getting manufacturing with this. So these aircrafts will be exported. You will be ready for the exports, because no country, even the Southeast Asian countries, African countries, they are not going to buy expensive aircrafts from the America or Russia. Russia is manufacturing rate is slow because the demand is such. So ours will be faster, don't worry. And as far the target is concerned, 42 squads were initially established. Okay, it is fine. Now aircraft squads are less, but the war has been changed. Concept of war has been changed. They know air-to-air fighting. They know aircraft going across the border, dropping the bombs. The 71, we went to Karachi and bombed them. We went to cross to the western border. We dropped the bombs and early morning came back. Canaras were very effective that time, 71, I was young. But now the war has changed. So now we actually the losses, what happened, 42 squad has been catered for the certain attrition. But the chances and probability of attrition in the future warfare, if it is being used with the effective electromagnetic warfare concept, it will not be there much. So, Joe will have 30 and 32, we are sufficient, and the plan we are going ahead, how many squads will increase, like MiG-21s has been over. So now we have been further depleted. So, similarly, other aircrafts, it will be replenishing. It will be the same rate. One squad is gone and 1.5 squad will come up. So, gradually it will reach up. And 35 is good enough to maintain our present requirement. Really don't have to have 42 because those time aircrafts are different, purpose is different. Aircraft has to bomb, go there and drop the bombs. We have to do a carpet bombing. The Canberra used to go and drop 8,000 pounds, then you destroy something. Now we launch a missile from here, we destroy their even the nuclear setup without going over it. So number of aircrafts is not a matter. What is more important is the other UAVs, combat UAVs. Large number of combat UAVs also required. So everything has to work in integration and properly, and this is the change what we have learned from the Ukraine and Russian war, because that is going to be more effective and you have to launch them because cheaper, no human life loss, and launch them. Indian government and DRDO had done a lot job. Like even anti-drone mechanism we have developed already. So that was shown clearly into the Operation Sindoor because you are very close to the border, not like Ukraine and Russia. The number of drones and number of small missiles they launched, everything were intercepted and brought down because of that air capability, or they were neutralized by the electronic magnetic warfare.
Okay. So as much as manufacturing, the capability is important, but strategic signaling, I think, ultimately is the biggest factor. So I'll take one last question, General, from you on the strategic signaling, and especially in context of Pakistan. Pakistan's army chief compared their economy to a dump truck, you would recall, and India's to a sports car. Do you see India's growing defense manufacturing capability itself as a form of the biggest strategic signaling to not just Pakistan but also to our northern adversary, although we see a temporary thaw, but we can't say we are friends again with China?
See, firstly, India's growing defense, I would say it sends a clear message to the world. Today, let me put it very bluntly, why is today America bulldozing its way all over the world? Whether it is with Putin or whether it is anyone. Two simple reasons. One is it's an economic power and it's a military power. And therefore, India also needs to be, probably we are also heading in that direction, that we are looking to be a major economic power. We are going to be shortly the third largest economy in the world, and at the same time a solid military power in the world.
Absolutely.
And I think the way things are, we have to keep shaping, keep looking for further expansion. Expansion means today Navy is a very, very important facet. Let us start thinking of having a Marine Corps, Marine Force. Let us have external dynamics. Let us have something sending our ships and Marines to various countries. It should happen. America is doing it. Force projection is a very, very important thing. See, that stands out very sharply, importance of a nation, that what it is. Today you look at China, it's got 3 aircraft carriers. So they are also now having the marine capability, and they have got bases in Djibouti and all this kind of thing. So it is high time India's strategic culture, we are firstly doing indigenization as we discussed. I think that is the step in the right direction, and this will again enhance our exports. Once you enhance your exports, what do people want? Quality and cheap prices.
Right.
India can offer that. We have advantage. We have land, we have labor, we have technical expertise of our youth. The startups are there, the MSMEs, SME, all these people are doing wonderfully well. And the best part is that Indians today, by nature, the way we have accepted and infused technology into military equipment, I think that has made a tremendous. Look at this Akash.
I think you've summed it up aptly, that as much as technology is important, it's also important to have that confidence, the capability, and most importantly, the credibility among countries that, okay, we have the technology, we have the expertise, we are producing in bulk, and we are giving it to them at an affordable price. That's something that makes India's partnership unique and different than the other developed countries in the world. So with that, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. Time allows me to take up only that much on this edition of Perspective. Thank you once again to both my guests for joining me on the program today and sharing your thoughts, your views, your valuable suggestions with us and our viewers. To you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well.
संसद टीवी के और भी प्रोग्राम्स देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा YouTube चैनल और हाँ, इन्हें लाइक और शेयर करना ना भूलें।